Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Pastor. Glad you're with us. We're going through the book of Acts. We're in Paul's second missionary journey. Going to be in where we call it Thessalonica. If you go over there and visit, they'll call it Thessaloniki. We call the athletic shoes that's named after our Greek god Nike. Over there they call it Nike, and Thessaloniki was actually named after that same god that we have our shoes with. But let's read about it. It's in chapter 17. When they passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessaloniki or Thessalonica, where there was a Jewish synagogue. Now remember, they went to Philippi, there wasn't a Jewish synagogue. Here there is one. And as his custom, Paul went into the synagogue, and on 3 Sabbath days he reasoned with them from the scripture, explaining and proving that the Christ had to suffer and rise from the dead. This Jesus I am proclaiming to you is the Christ, he said. Some of the Jews were persuaded and joined Paul and Silas, as did a large number of God-fearing Greeks and not a few prominent women. But the Jews were jealous, so they rounded up some bad characters from the marketplace, formed a mob, and started a riot in the city. They rushed to Jason's house in search of Paul and Silas in order to bring them out to the crowd. But when they did not find them, they dragged Jason and some other brothers before the city officials, shouting, "These men who have caused trouble all over the world have now come here, and Jason has welcomed them into his house. They are all defying Caesar's decrees, saying that there is another king, one called Jesus." When they heard this, the crowd and city officials were thrown into turmoil. Then they made Jason and the others post bond and let them go. So in Philippi, you remember, Paul and Silas were beaten and jailed. Then they figured out that they were Roman citizens, and that bothered them because that's an illegal thing to do, is to arrest and beat Roman citizens, especially without trial. And so, but they've been jailed and beaten. But good thing is the Philippian jailer was saved, he and his household, if you remember. And so now they come to Thessaloniki and Thessalonica, and they are sharing gospel in the synagogue. Some Jews have been saved, some of the God-fearers have been saved, the Gentiles, some prominent women have been saved, people have been saved. But there's some people who just couldn't handle it. So they were staying at Jason's house. Paul and Silas happened not to be there when they came, but they came and dragged Jason out and had him arrested, and he had to post bond to get out. And we see that, and we'll see that Paul's going to have to move on. And we'll read about that tomorrow, when he gets sent to Berea. We actually stayed in Thessalonica or Thessaloniki over there. It's a city of about 1 million. In fact, we flew into Athens first, but we didn't stay in Athens. We flew immediately to Thessalonica or Thessaloniki, and it doesn't have the ancient ruins because they built cities on top of them, and all like you will in Philippi or Corinth or even Athens. But they have some ideas where some places were. And as we drove by, they thought down here where the red roofs are, they thought that probably is where Jason's house was. Now you see, it's not far from the sea. And so it would have been a nice place to be and a nice place to live. It would have had a nice view. They think that's maybe where Jason's house was. And also, but there they are. They're starting another church, getting another thing going, and then getting persecuted again. It's amazing to me what Paul and Barnabas and Silas and all them had to go through. It seemed like about everywhere they went, had to get beaten, stoned, jailed, always got in trouble for just telling people about Jesus. That doesn't make sense to me, but it happens all the time. And it happened in Thessalonica as well. Well, we'll pick up here tomorrow and we'll study about the Bereans. That's a very interesting group, and we'll be looking at them tomorrow. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.